Mark, and welcome to the world of Grand Seiko. Today, we will discuss the proper usage and care of your Grand Seiko SBGA 373. The SBGA 373 is an automatic winder by means of case-back winding mass. It uses the kinetic energy of your wrist to energize the spring that drives the mechanism. But should you wish to wind this watch manually, for example, should it run down as seen here, you want to thread the crown counterclockwise until it pops out of its threaded stem tube. And when you feel it pop out in that first position, you want to start turning in a clockwise direction. And sometimes it will jump into action with alacrity, and other times it'll take a few dozen turns, but you can use the power reserve gauge on the dial as your rough reference, and you want to turn until it reaches the end of its travel. When fully energized, the watch does have approximately a 72-hour or 3-day power reserve, and when winding manually, if you wish to energize fully, just wind until the reserve de manche hand indicates it's reached the end of its travel. And remember, if you wish to be extra certain that the watch is fully wound, wait till the hand stops traveling, and bear no concern with regard to overwinding. You cannot accidentally overwind this timepiece. It features a bridle-style mainspring that simply slips to relieve any excess strain. Now, once you've got the watch wound to your satisfaction, you can use the setting functions to precisely synchronize the time and the date against a reference. I recommend looking up an online atomic clock that is set to your time zone, waiting for that seconds hand to reach 12 o'clock, wait for it to align perfectly, and when it does, then you take the crown and you pull it out 2 stops. That is stop seconds or hacking, also known as the setting mode. You can see the dates in the middle of a changeover, so we're going to roll through the date change. This is something I always like to do when setting a watch, so I know whether I'm looking at the time in AM or PM. Am I looking at the morning or am I looking at the evening? And rolling through the date change does that for me. So let's say it is 5:30 AM where I am. So I'm going to set, against my reference time, my atomic clock online, I'm actually going to set 5:31 because I'm going to set to the next nearest minute and the correct hour. Once I've matched the hour and set to the next nearest minute, I'm going to watch and wait for that reference time to catch up to the exact hour, minute, and second that I've set, and then push that crown back in. Resume the beat of, well, not the balance, but the advance of the governing wheel of the spring drive, and now I've synchronized my watch to a reference time. You'll also note that I've moved my time beyond the hours of 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. There is a quick set date function. I pull the crown out 1 to 10, note the seconds hand is still moving, and now I can turn in a counterclockwise direction and rapidly cycle the date. This allows me to easily correct should the watch run down or encounter an irregular length month. But remember, never use the quick set date between the hours of 8 p.m. and 3 a.m. as the watch is engaged during that period in its own automatic changeover of the date. And you can't have the two mechanisms, quick set and automatic date jump, operating concurrently. That will crash the mechanism and cause damage. So just take care to be out of that 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. zone. If you must change the date during that period, manually roll the hour hand through the date change. Now, once I've set my correct time and date, and I've wound the watch to my heart's content, this is a screw-down crown, so you want to make sure you press it in lightly. You can feel it catch its threaded stem tube, and then you turn until it stops. Now it's fully planted, and it will be slightly countersunk, so you can tell visually against the case. There are 3 primary areas of hazard you need to keep in mind when caring for your watch and using your watch: water, magnetism, and shock. Let's talk about water first. Every Grand Seiko features a case-back water resistance rating, and you can see right here it's rated to 10 bar. So this is 100 meter water resistant, and a timepiece water resistant to 100 meters is a swimmable watch. You can use this for most aquatic activities that don't involve high diving or diving deep with rebreather apparatus. So you can swim with the watch, but you can also help to avoid accidental drowning. Keep that crown threaded down, not just while the watch is submerged, even while the case is wet. A wet watch is as good as a submerged watch, so always dry the watch fully before threading the crown out, winding the watch with the crown, or setting the watch with the crown. Over time, water resistance will ebb. As seals and lubricants degrade, the watch will not be quite as water resistant as when it left the factory or its last service. Therefore, Grand Seiko recommends on an annual basis, at minimum, having your watch dry water tested with an authorized dealer. The service is free, and it will let you know whether the watch is still water resistant to the factory rated metric. It's also a good time to have the total condition of your watch, internally, externally, and with respect to water resistance, evaluated to see if a full service might be necessary. Magnetism is ubiquitous. You'll find it in powerful static magnets, such as the closures of wallets and purses, refrigerator doors, or in speakers and subwoofers. Moreover, you'll find powerful electromagnets are almost everywhere, from your personal devices, your phone, your laptop, to wiring looms and harnesses that you may experience in the workplace or the home. Keep in mind that there may be powerful magnets in the keyboard of your laptop powering its integral speakers. Magnetism can affect a spring drive caliber because the spring drive caliber features a number of sensitive electromagnetic adjustments and interactions, so keep your watch remote from magnetic sources. Concussion is a serious threat to your watch because at minimum it can cause imprecise operation. Maximally it can damage the case, it can damage seals, it can damage and discharge crystals, it can even damage and stop your movement. Therefore, Grand Seiko recommends the watch be disused during concussive sports such as batting, tennis, golf, or firearms marksmanship, and disuse the watch during the riding of ATVs or mountain bikes as a precaution. Ultimately, per Grand Seiko, every fine timepiece, spring drive, mechanical, or quartz, will require a periodic overhaul. Every 3 years is the prescription from the factory. This is always something that you should have checked during your annual water test. Should it be necessary, service exclusively with an authorized service center or with the Grand Seiko factory itself, as these agencies solely have the trained personnel, proper tools, and factory replacement parts to protect the value of your watch as both instrument and as investment. Moreover, only these agencies can back all labor and parts invested in the service with a Grand Seiko factory service warranty. Finally, visit our website at Grand Seiko's authorized dealer, govbergwatches.com, and call, text, or email our experts who will be happy to talk you through every phase of the usage, care, and maintenance of this or any Grand Seiko timepiece.